Okay guys, here we are. Alec, Peirce, Scuba, LDS Pro. A little tip again for you that might be beneficial. If you take all my little tips and put them all together, you can write a book. How many times over those years have you had a diver, generally speaking a diver, somebody, a diver, customer, ask if they can get service training, if they can watch while you service a regulator and learn how to do it. If they can watch while you service a points account. How many times have you had somebody, a customer or a diver, ask if they can get service training? All the time. We get it all the time. Sometimes if we're just a diver, you know, a guy that's handy with tools, a mechanic or whatever, handy, and he's really enthusiastic and he's got gear he bought from you. Oh, I'd like to learn how to take this. Can I watch? Or you get fellows that bring in their equipment for service, you know, Reg BC or whatever, and then we're saying, listen, when are you going to do this? Because I'd love to come to the service department and watch you while you're doing it. Okay. Number one, you can't do that. In one of my previous LDS Pro tips, I explained to you that you should have your service department separate, out of the way where it can't be seen. Here in this dash door, you notice they actually have a door that closes, and the smallest service department is completely sealed off. It's quiet, and you can work away in there, and nobody can disturb them. But no, you can't do that. You can't be teaching people how to service their equipment. First of all, there are liability issues involved, and secondly, it simply is not good for business. Now, that doesn't mean you don't do it. There is a way to do it. So if you have somebody who's fairly insistent and a good customer, or more likely an employee, and they say, gosh, you know, I'm really good at sales and all that kind of stuff, but I'd love to learn how to fix regulators. There's nothing wrong with that. It's always good to have your employees familiar with the equipment. So when somebody comes in for service, they can actually talk intelligently to them. You know, it's like going into a service station and the guy says, well, we need to top up your headlight fluid. The person who's driving the car needs to know that that's a crock, you know, there's no such a thing. And so it's nice if people come in and say, I need my regulator. And what do you think about this? You think this filter is dirty or whatever it is? It's nice if your employees can give them a straightforward and correct answer. And they take a look, wow, that filter's not shiny. It's not very clean. We should, you know, it's nice. So it's not a bad idea. How do you do it? Well, there's two ways that you do it. If they are, in fact, a legitimate employee, they don't really have to be, but if you would like them to get proper factory service training, and there's a reason for doing that, then sign them up for a course. All the major manufacturers and even the minor manufacturers offer training programs. If you have enough people, if you have a big staff, we had 40 instructors at one time, plus staff. If you have a big group, let's say 10 would be a good number, then they will often travel to your dive store. They will often make it a personal service training program for you, where there's a whole one-day program or even a two-day program. Often, if you have enough people, they will come to you. If not, most manufacturers offer service training at some of the larger dive shows. I'm thinking of DEMA, or the big show in LA, or in New Jersey, Chicago. There's a good number of them. And many manufacturers will offer, in advance, they'll offer service training for dive store employees. Now, in most cases, they want you to certify that they, in fact, are in the industry. They don't want to be training Joe Diver, nice guy, but doesn't work in a dive store. They want to make the training restricted to and good for dive store employees. You may have to sign for that. Small thing, if you have a diver who is not working in the industry, but for some reason, you would like him to have the factory service training, I don't suppose it would be completely wrong for you to sign that he is an employee and send him on a service training program. I know that has happened. I know that's happened. I won't tell you how I know, but it has happened. However, generally, they'd have to be in the industry to do that. So that takes care of one. Now, the other thing I wanted to mention is that sometimes your employees, as I said earlier, your main guy in the dive store, great for sales, instructor, all that, knows nothing about regulators. You know, can't tell a regulator from VCD. Well, not that bad. But anyway, he knows nothing about service, and he's interested. Well, there's a perfect chance. Get him one of the training programs for sure. You're going to make him a better employee. Plus, It's an incentive for her to stay with you. If he's a good employee, you want to keep him, keeps him happy. Whether you have him pay for the training, because there's usually a fee involved from the factory, where you have him pay or you make it a bonus. You know, the training program is $250, but we'll cover that, and you'll become a certified trainer and make that one of your, whatever you do. So that's important. What do you do about the diver? The diver, good customer, nice guy, mechanically inclined, very technically inclined, and he wants to be able to service his own regulator. That becomes a little touchier, a little tougher. You do not really want him involved in any legitimate training program in the store. Not really kosher to send him on a factory training program, and now you have to start thinking about the potential for liability. If you personally teach him to fix his regulator and he does not do a good job, it could be a problem. So what do? Well, it's a little bit tough in that particular case. All you can really do is suggest to him that he speaks to one of your service technicians, and the service technician might be prepared to show him some very simple service procedures. Changing O-rings on the SPG, changing filters, changing mouthpieces, cleaning the buoyancy compensator, a few simple processes like that. I personally don't think that you should be training non-industry personnel, actual service, stripping, cleaning, rebuilding regulators from scratch. I just don't think it's a very smart idea, but that's entirely up to you. Point is, this is something that comes up all the time. And if you can make it a bonus to your employees, or say, sure, well, why don't we run a little to a group of divers? We used to do that. Sure, get 6 divers together and we'll show you how to service your BC, which means cleaning it, changing the O-rings and stuff like that. So it can actually be turned to your advantage. I had this rule in the dive store: don't say no. You never say no. So someone walks in, I want to become a service technician. Can I take a course? Don't say no. I say, well, we have a couple ideas for that. Yeah, give me your name and number and I'll speak to the team. I think we have a small group coming up that might be able to help you. Don't say no. Anyway, there's some possibilities, and it can actually work out to your advantage, maybe even to your profit, to your bottom line. Anyway, there you go. That's my thoughts on dive store employee service training. It's good for the dive store employees, and if you can turn it to your advantage or your customers, that's good too. Just some ideas. Talk to you soon. Alec, Peirce, LDS Pro.